we've been talking about moonlight temperatures. So, Liam.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about the some of these practical experiments that people can do, and the moonlight test is one of them. Now, and obviously when you get the results of that, if you're not piqued, if your interest isn't worried, or wondering about why
Curious.
it's cold, you've got to be curious about it. Second thing, they tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. Go to the seashore, look at the sun set or rise. We'll come to that in a minute. It just moves further away. It's not setting anywhere or going below the horizon. But you will see concentrated light from the sun on the sea. If it's 93 million miles away, the entire sea
Should be lit up.
should be lit up. It's not. It never is. The sun isn't what we're told it is. Fact. Sorry.
Is it anything truth?
Oh, that's another big, deep question.
Hope FM is life-changing radio. That is truth.
Well, I'm hoping the flat Earth will change people for the life-changing radio. Yes.
Yes. Let's have some moonlight shadow.
Indeed.
Let's talk about Rocket Man, shall we?
Good old Elton. Good old Elton. Well, Rocket Man, yes, indeed. The head of NASA. Let's go. Okay, let's start. Let's take it back a bit. Second World War. Don't listen to me, like I say, go and find out for yourself. Somebody go and look for Admiral Bird. Now, the name might be familiar to you if you are a bit of a conspiracy buff or whatever. He might be associated with the Hollow Earth theory. Now, 57, let's say, in and around the late 50s, Admiral Bird was going down to Antarctica for years. He was the youngest naval commander in the US Navy. Excuse me. And he used to travel down there for years. He spent a big part of his time down there researching or doing whatever. Now, the way I see it and the way I believe through the research I've done is that he found the edge of the firmament. There are numerous records telling us that. There's 1958, there's the Encyclopedia America. I think it's volume 2. It's just
This is 1958. This is not a long time ago.
No, it's recent history. 1958. Explaining that there is a dome 13,000 feet high, at latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. They did some exploratory flights, I think, this entry in this encyclopedia from 1955 and 1956. Now, what happened then, very, very quickly, was something called the Antarctic Treaty. It was signed in 1959. I think it was ratified eventually in 61, which is a treaty, go and have a look, which explains that you cannot at all go there. Yes, you can pay £15,000 or whatever and go and see a few penguins on a piece of ice and a little research station. Well done, you've been to Antarctica. That's not what it is. Antarctica is an ice wall around the flat disk Earth. What's happened here is clearly there was a dome. There was some kind of firmament which has been written about in, many, many news articles. If you find them, many, many encyclopedias. It was taught as fact. Very, very quickly after that, Admiral Bird finds the side. So this is something that now the powers that be really understand, that the Earth is not the ball. They are continuing with it. You couldn't get high enough, you couldn't get wide enough before. You didn't have the technology. 1958, NASA is launched. If you find the side of a dome, you want to find out where the rest of it is. So they started doing the most bizarre things. They joined with the Russians, the Americans, and during something called Operation Dominic, inside of that was Operation Fishbowl. And you can go and check all of these things.
Interesting choice of name.
Interesting choice of name. You can't make it up. This is the thing. Where they sent massive nuclear weapons up to the top to see how high it was. There's video footage of it, I think, still, of nukes exploding, and you can see it's hitting something. Various claims at 7,000 miles, 3,000 miles, 2,000 miles, 700 miles. We don't know, is the simple answer. I'm sure people do know, but not privy down to the likes of us. So then, you've got to protect. It's not, I don't think they wanted to create NASA. I don't think they wanted to create what I think is a massive deception, including space and the ISS, Mars, and blah, blah, blah. They had to, because human nature would at some point want to find out what's on the other side of this dome. So once you protect the sides and all around with the Antarctic Treaty, you've got to protect the top, because people will find it, and human nature is to explore, to get out, to go and do these things. NASA was created in 1958 with none other than the head of its rocket program was a chap called Wernher Von Braun, Mr. Nazi V2 rocket super impresario. Came over in Project Paperclip, I think that's what it was. Paperclip, is it? Brain's going, it's early. Came to South America, went up and headed NASA. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So all things aren't as easy as you think. So a Nazi still burning on the embers of a Nazi war criminal and terrible destruction with rockets, V2s, built by this guy. He's a terrible person, but he's good enough to go and head NASA space program. And something interesting enough, this is the guy that built rockets and sent stuff to the moon, apparently. His headstone, you can look for his headstone. It says Wernher Von Braun, born whenever, died whenever. And in the bottom, a small thing, it says...
One of our listeners says, is your guest a Christian? And this is pushing you in that direction, isn't it?
It's not pushing me in the direction. I just want to hold back a little bit from that.
So he doesn't know, dear listeners.
No. So Wernher von Braun, born 1912, died 1977. Now you'd think his grave, being the grandfather of the rocket program, blah, 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 would be some sort of huge thing. It's not. It's a small plaque with that written on it. And underneath that it says Psalms 19:1. Now, Psalms 19:1, for those of you that don't know, mentions a couple of things, but the best thing it says, you can see God's handiwork in the firmament, or similar words to that. Now, why? The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Now, come on people, why? Why would you say that? Well, you could have had anything written on your gravestone, anything at all. Beloved father missed by whatever.
Yeah, good friend.
But no, you want to... parting shot maybe, parting shot.
Re-establish.
Hidden in plain sight. That's how they do it. It's bizarre.